anyone who is more familiar with my playlists, the way I film things, I do have some history of ancient Britain, and there is the original sandstone. That's what all Castlefield is built on. Built on top of that, and obviously now gotten myself into a situation where I'll have to follow all these canal links now and find out where they go, where the Rochdale Canal officially ends. I know there's a canal lift bridge somewhere around here, but if it's not in this short movie, then it'll be in another one, because we're going to follow the canal. If we're at the end, we can conclude that in other ways. So this is still just the Manchester section, Castlefield section of the Rochdale Canal. We'll just get the basin and the moorings, its ins and outs, the workings and workhouses. That's the grocer's warehouse at the end. And these barges are typical boats. They have engines similar to a motorbike engine. Motorbikes were created before cars, of course, because bikes had engines put on when engines were invented, then cars. Car is actually abbreviation for the word carriage. You have a horse and carriage, I have a motor carriage. So like a motorbike, but it's abbreviated to car. You may or may not know that, but that's where the word derives from. It's like a horseless cart, a car. Okay, Liverpool, Leeds and the Bridgewater Canal, the clubs and societies, I've seen stickers on all these canals, so I know all the canals that do exist in the northwest will obviously connect here, because you've got to get to the Manchester Ship Canal, which we'll find links to and we'll explain that, so we know where we're up to at this point. The fort was the main route between major fortresses, Chester and York, and on the road to Carlisle and Hadrian's Wall from the south. Supplying the fort generated new trade, and a thriving civilian settlement grew up around its walls. Manchester. Beside the fort. The first fort, built in AD 79, was probably square in plan. The defences comprised a ditch system surrounding a rampart of turf, topped with a timber palisade. With timber gateways and corner towers. It's a palisade. That's what goes across the top. Inside was the commander's house, granaries, headquarters, stables, workshops, store buildings and barracks. It would have housed 480 persons. During the period AD 90 to AD 160, the fort rampart was strengthened, the north gate replaced the defensive ditch system, and Castle Street Bridge was all altered at that time. So at the end of this period, the fort was rebuilt in turf and timber. So it's a wooden fortification at first, but was expanded on its western side, increasing its size to about 2 hectares. I think they built wooden fortifications and built a brick one inside that, so it was defended while they built. It is possible that this expansion was carried out so it's extended to accommodate extra granaries, with the fort serving as a supply depot. Around AD 200 they the defences of the fort were modified with a stone wall fronting the turf rampart, whilst the wooden gates were reconstructed in stone. Obviously the gates weren't constructed in stone. The gate holders. The fort continued in use until the end of the Roman period, around AD 400. But the civilian settlement appears to have declined in the mid-3rd century. Not a massive gap though, is it? The 1982 reconstruction of the North Gate rampart, wall and ditches, which is the last bit we saw, is based on an extensive archaeological excavation and research. It shows how the Roman defences may have looked AD 200. Just point out here, as you see the train, there's so many bridges, compacted into such a small area, because each one of these railways came from a different place surrounding Manchester. So they all meet here, where the original basin of the canal was. But they don't interlink as such, they all cross over one another. It's because private individual companies owned each railway line. The infrastructure of British Rail was a much later thing. So they all meet here, but they would have been owned by individual railway companies. The actual railway itself was a company, a business in itself. Okay. In 2008, archaeologists discovered a complete altar near Chester Road, on the opposite side of the river Medlock, from the Roman fort. The excavations showed that the Roman settlement extended to the west side of the river. I think they should go further before they build Manchester up anymore. I think there's a lot more to find than if they're finding things like that. All part of Deansgate Lock. Deansgate is one of the city's oldest thoroughfares. In Roman times, this route passed close to the Roman fort, down to the river Medlock. There was an old ford, and the road at the end went to Chester, so it's a straight line. It's part of the old Roman history. Along this length was a mansion, and that's where the current Hilton Hotel is. Old Port Lane, and that's from Saxon times. It's the Saxon name for Castlefield, Old Port. Until 1730s, the area was rural, like I said. It became built up after the development of the quay on the river. So, believe it or not, there's Roman remains buried under that arch. Very important Roman remains. Would have been the centre of the Roman city. Is here. And then we have these great feats of the Industrial Revolution. Manchester, UK. Brief videos of time with Stephen Goddard. A lot of the time you think, what's it on about? It's our Roman site. Okay, so there's our Roman wall. Roman steps. And I am now in Rome, as it were. Yep, within these walls I am actually a Roman, or I would have been. That's its moat. And this is the castle. as it is now, all that remains of the castle. I'm sure there's lots of stuff underneath, but from here there's a road that leads right up all the way to Bury and over the Pennines. As I said, we'll get this because this is all that really remains of it, and it has been repaired, just so we know where the Roman site was. And I'm going to head up the canal again, as I said I would, and I'll get that disused bridge. But that's how ruthless they were in the Industrial Revolution, because even this Roman application, which is a really important part of history, was knocked down to make way for these rail links and canals. So that's how they remain these days. Just the evidence that it was here. Some of the buildings that would have been inside the fort, but obviously the fort would have gone right over that way, right over that way, around here. Temples and shrines once lined the road. There you go, and there's no real evidence. They've never dug it up, never found it. It's all there. It goes all the way up to Bury, I know it does. Anyway, the altar, which dates around 180 AD, that's before Christianity, so they had a religion too. I think they had Norse religion, similar. Anyway, it records only the second named Roman from Manchester and reads Davis Materalibus. I can't read it. It translates to the mother goddess Hanan Fate and the mother goddess Alotote, alias Victor, gladly, willingly and deservedly fulfilled his vow. No idea what that means. Alias Victor was probably the military commander originating from North Germany, as the dedication relates to native goddess from Germany, Lower Rhineland. The altar can be seen in Manchester Museum on Oxford Road if you're interested. The Romans did invade Germany and then England, so it does make sense. We're walking around Castlefield today. The Industrial Revolution has now become legend, so ruins of this Roman fort can be studied. The history of the Industrial Revolution can now be studied too. This is one of the first urban site of industrial value. I think it was the first. They found over 400 Roman objects in this area. So Castlefield down here passes into legend not just once, twice. Also, the history into it is very interesting. So the fort was in an area called Mancusium and Mancunia. That's what's given its name to the town of Manchester, or city now. The terminus of the Bridgewater Canal, it's the world's first industrial canal, built in the We're at Mancunian, half a day, so we're going to walk up there, see if we make it. And I'm just filming that because that's older. So, just like to add an important fact on here. Most of our history ends up under car parks. Under there, sorry, that's a part of the Roman remains buried under an arch in a car park. Hey, that's what you call looking after your history, isn't it? See if there's any more. like I say, there's lots of Roman stuff and it's just never been found, and it's unbelievable that it's never really been looked for. Anyway, you can go down there. So I know it seems daft that we ended up in the car park, but definitely under that arch, that's Roman remains. I know that because I've watched another channel and I've always wanted to pop down here and have a look for myself. And that's it. Peace out, Manchester. Just in time for the tram. Once again, in a car park. Currently underneath the GMX, which was once a train station and is now an entertainment place. But this is the line of the Manchester, Bolton and Bury Company's Canal. Would have come down along here, and access to the Bridgewater Hall is under there, and the canal follows that route. There's evidence under there, but it's closed. But, well, here's the old stones of the towpath. That's what we got, but it did go down in a straight line that way. Unfortunately, it's closed. I'm not sure what wind we get in Manchester. Sorry.